Hi there, Eliane Dakpogan once again for my 20-day talk challenge in English. Today is day 12, September 12th. Welcome. Today I want to talk about something funny that happened to me recently. The topic is not funny, but something funny happened. So, first thing first, the funny thing. In day 4, I talked about what is happiness, right? And I said to have happiness, we need three components, okay? There are three conditions to lead us to happiness. And the first one is joy, the second one is peace, and the third one is unity, okay? So I kept saying joy, we need to be joyful ourselves and make others be joyful as well. And then peace, be peaceful and make others be peaceful as well. And then be united. Okay, you get it. My point is the first condition that I mentioned, that is joy, is not really joy. I kept saying joy. In my mind, I kept saying joy, joy, joy. But I didn't want to say joy in reality. I wanted to talk about freedom. The word that I was supposed to mention was freedom, but I don't know how. I changed and I put joy instead. Because if those who are familiar to the teachings of Reverend Moon, okay, it talks about a world of freedom, a world of peace, a world of unity, and a world of happiness, okay? So if we have freedom, not joy, as I said before, it's not joy. In fact, joy is related to happiness, okay? When we are happy, we have joy. I kind of dissociated both, and I was kind of into another explanation, which was not really what I wanted to say, but I don't really know why I kept saying, but this is an indication that I'm really, doing the challenge. Like, my words are not scripted. I don't really have a script that I read and I follow the script and I talk. I just speak what just comes in my mind and what I get inspired to talk about. And sometimes you have some memory trick. You want to talk about something and then you kind of mix things up. But anyway, the core message was there. So even though I didn't want to talk about joy, and then I in fact, I wanted to talk about freedom instead, and I mentioned joy. Okay, these are all the good stuff that are involved in happiness. Okay, so it's freedom and not joy. But why did I keep saying joy and not freedom? I mean, joy, freedom, they are not the same words. They are very different words, okay? When you hear them, you hear freedom, you hear joy. You can be confused in the pronunciation. These are different words. The spelling, the pronunciation, everything's different. But why did I say joy and not freedom? Then this morning I found out that I said joy because, in fact, Reverend Moon's teachings are originally in Korean because the Reverend Moon is from Korea. Reverend Moon and his wife, they are from Korea. So they originally speak Korean. And then the Korean is translated in French, first in English and then in other language, okay? So freedom in Korean is jayu. Jayu. So you see, the pronunciation of the word ja you, and when you say joy, you see, so it's almost the same. So that's the reason why I made this mistake. It's like mistake, but it wasn't supposed to be joy. It was supposed to be freedom. So the word for freedom in Korean is jayu. And even when you translate in French, freedom is liberté, okay, in French. So it was freedom, not joy. But the Korean word for freedom is jayu. So jayu looks like joy. And in French, joy is joie. So you see, I was kind of mixed up. That's what I found funny in this stuff. Yes, it's really funny sometimes how you are kind of lost in translation, okay, because words seem to look the same, and you know what they mean, but you just get confused when they look alike. You just pick one word instead of another, and then that's what happened to me. Yes, so I meant freedom and not joy. But as I know the word for freedom in Korean, and this word is jayu. So I wanted to talk because I used to relate to that content taught by Reverend Moon. I used to read and hear about it in French because I'm a French speaker. So as I was in my challenge to speaking English, jayu looks like joy. So instead of saying freedom, I said joy. I hope you understand what I mean, okay? Sometimes we are kind of lost, okay? When we deal with many languages, this is what happens. And by the way, I learned some Korean. I'm still learning, and what is funny with learning Korean is that I started learning the Korean writing system first before the language itself, the spoken language. So I know how to read and write in Hangul, okay? But it's hard to speak Korean. In another video, I'll tell you about this and why it's wrong to start reading and writing when you learn a language. It's better to start listening and speaking, okay? That's the right formula. And that I call the Z formula. I'm going to be talking about this formula in another video. But today I want to go back to kind of correct my mistake about freedom, okay? Because I wanted to say freedom, but I didn't say freedom, and I said joy. So I need to go back and correct. So reason why today's topic is going to be about freedom. So freedom or prison? This is today's topic. Freedom or prison? The first criteria or condition for happiness is freedom. We have freedom, we have peace, and we have unity. And all those things make happiness. But we need freedom first. Because if we are not free, we cannot be happy. And the thing is, sometimes we think we are free, though we are in prison. We are not really free. It's a fake freedom. And many people are in a fake freedom, thinking they are really free. They are not. They are still in prison. And how to know if you are really free or not? The only thing that can help you figure things out is the truth. The reason why the universal values are essential. Okay, on that part, I didn't make any mistake. Okay, they are correct. Okay, the universal values of truth, goodness, and the third one is beauty. Truth, goodness, beauty. Okay, I got things right on that side. Okay, so if we don't have truth, if we don't know the truth, if we don't know whether things are true or wrong, it's hard to comprehend our situation. So, what does freedom mean? And how can we differentiate freedom to prison? Freedom or prison? When you are free, you are in peace. When you are free, you have a peace of mind. Peace is an indicator of freedom, because let's say you keep fighting, you are in conflict. Like we know in this world, there are many parts of the world where people are really struggling, really suffering because of wars, conflicts. So they are not free because they are busy fighting each other. They are not free to live in peace and unity. So we can't talk about happiness if we don't have freedom. If people are not free, they can't be happy. If people are in prison, if people are trapped, if people are stuck, they can't be happy. So we may be free to some extent, but we may also be in prison to some extent. And if we look at the outcomes that we have in our life, this may determine whether we are free or not. So just looking at the fact that you are not in a peaceful environment, inside and outside, and you are not in a united environment, so you are not happy, then you are not free. So the prison is not necessarily seen as, okay, you are in a cage, you are locked in a cage and you can't escape. Okay, physical cage. Okay, you are in jail. This is prison, this is tangible prison, but I'm talking about another kind of prison, the prison that we don't see, the prison of a very essential component of ourselves, of our identity as a human being. What is in prison that we don't really realize that it's in prison? I'm talking about the prison of our minds. The real and the most dangerous prison I'm talking about is the prison of our minds. So can somebody imprison your own mind? I mean, this is your mind. It's yours. How can somebody else come and put your mind in prison? You think it's impossible. Okay, how can, okay, I am me. Okay, that person can't catch my mind and put my mind in a prison. How can that person do so? Well, let me tell you today, maybe you've never heard of it before, but let me tell you that the sad truth is that many people are in prison in their minds. They are in prison. They have no freedom in their minds. They are not free. They are not free. You may see them walking, passing by, working, living their lives, but they are not free. The freedom of mind is the freedom to think for yourself. So, the freedom of mind is very key, is very essential. People are not free to think by themselves. And how do you know whether people are not free to think by themselves? It's when they keep waiting for direction. They keep waiting for people to tell them what to do. They don't take action. They don't decide. So they are not free. Though we are all born to be free, to act freely. So it's important to be aware of that and to start training yourself to take control of your mind. Because when you are not free, meaning you are in prison, somebody else is controlling you. So if you are not free of your own mind, then somebody else is controlling your mind. Somebody else is putting something in your mind, is making decisions for you on your behalf. And most of the time without you being aware of it. So I wish you to be free. I wish you the best. Be free and take care of your freedom and help others be free as well. So if you are free and others are not free, you can be happy. It's not just freedom for you, but it's freedom for everybody. So thank you very much. Have a nice day and see you in the next talk. Bye.